So hey everybody, so I'm back in the kitchen and I am doing dishes. Wanted to tell you about Miss Peanut's conferences. She had conference yesterday, or whatever day that was. What day was that? Wednesday. And so conferences went well. She's got A's and B's. The teacher, excuse me, she's getting to know who Boss Lady is, or who Miss Peanut's mama is. And I try not to have that stigma. I try not to have that name for myself. And excuse me, I'm going to be turning the water on and off just so y'all know, because I'm trying to wash these dishes. And I don't have the camera at the right level. So let me see if I can adjust the camera. I was trying to have it down low enough, but now it seems like it's too low. So give me a second. Let me try to raise y'all up. 1 second. Okay, now it seems like y'all a little bit higher. Hopefully the camera doesn't move, because, yeah. Anyway, so, like I said, I'm not trying to make a name for myself as far as being that type of, mama or whatever. But one thing I will say, when it comes to your children and their education, do not be silent. Because some of these schools, whether private or public, they will try to get over on you. So, a couple weeks ago, Miss Peanut came home with her progress report, and her progress report said she had a D- in reading. And I said, well, wait a minute now. Because Miss Peanut come home, and I'm going to be turning the water on and off. Miss Peanut comes home, and she does homework every day for 2 hours. She got math for at least an hour, 45 minutes, because that's just the type of math she's got. So I'm like, what is you talking about? So I must have got a hold of the teacher because, and this was right after, Kobe's passing. So, I'm like, well, what the heck? And if you see this right here, this is my kitchen cabinet. And then this right here is actually a spoon, because the drain for the dishes is right here and I'm doing dishes. But anyway, so I got a hold of the teacher. She talking about it was some missing assignment because it was so close to the beginning of the school year. They didn't have a lot of assignments in that category. So if one assignment wasn't done, then it would be a low grade. I was like, I'm gonna need that grade to come home. I'm gonna need that grade. No, I said I'm gonna need that assignment to come home. I don't care if she got to stand from recess, but I want the assignment done, and I want that grade change. I don't want that to be her final grade for first quarter. So she's like, well, it's just midterm. No, it's not just midterm to me. Midterm and the end of the quarter, I need to know that her grades is where they're supposed to be, because I make sure of that because of the other situation I'm getting ready to bring up. So fast forward from 2 weeks ago. So fast forward into conferences, which was on Wednesday the 19th. Okay, so we go to conference, and every year now the kids are doing this. It's like a grade level test. They call it a MAP test or RIT test. And they test the kids on reading and math to see, are they at grade level? And so they have where they can exceedingly meet the grade level, meet grade level, partially meet, or not meet at all. Well, Miss Peanut, she's meeting that grade level for reading, which, I knew that to be true. As far as her math, she was 3 points from meeting that grade level. Not to say that, she, don't know her math or whatever, but just that particular day she had off day, whatever. Okay, so that was like the first thing I wanted to discuss in the meeting. I don't want to hear, such a great child, and, she's helpful, and blah, 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 even though she pulled that mess too. I'm like, no, let's get to the meat and potatoes, because that's where I'm at, meat and potatoes, when it comes to the grades. So, she talked about, she said she wasn't worried or concerned at all. She was only 3 points below. She said some kids are 10, 15, 20 points below meeting the standard. So, she knows her stuff. And now, they're focusing on whatever. So it'll be on the next test and blah, 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 blah. Okay. So we talked about that. That was the beginning of the education plan, because all the scholars of the school get an education plan. So then we moved on to her academic, and I forgot to bring the paper in here. Let me go grab the paper, because I want y'all to hear this verbatim. 1 second. Okay, and y'all know Boss Lady. Boss Lady got her nice trusty little binder here, and as you can see, it's starting to get full. So, let me go back to this plan here. Oh no, this is the test. So, like I said, the test, I'm trying to think, what was the standard? So, back to the test for For math, the goal was for the score to be 201. She came in at 198. No problem. 3 points. I can deal with that. For reading, the score was 203. She came in at 207. So I said, okay, so she, exceeded that. So we good with that. So go on now to the individual education plan. So that's what this is here. So then after we talked about that, we talked about her strengths. So she said, this is where she gets into the whole how great of a student and blah, blah, blah. So she was like, Miss Pina is a strong student, turns in quality work consistently on time. Really? Because at midterm, there was a missing assignment and I wasn't notified. So then she says, Miss Pina has a wonderful support system at home geared toward guiding her to success. That would be true. That's me and Bossman all day and the entire village. Then she said, Miss Pina displays kindness and helpfulness in the classroom and community. That's my child. Yes. Okay. So then she moves on to academic challenges. This is where I had issue, but I didn't have this issue at conferences. I had this issue about 4 to 5 hours later, because when we had the conference, she didn't go line by line on this paper. What she did was just kind of, I started off the meeting with the test. So the test was in the beginning piece of it. And then she kind of went on to the strengths. And then she only touched on a couple of challenges and then touched on goals. And that was basically it. So then there's 3 challenges, academic challenges. So she said Miss Pina's affinity toward reading will sometimes pull her from her focus in the classroom to her books. So basically, she don't want my child reading. And I'm like, whatever, because we're going to continue to read. She's just going to know that, okay, if it's time for math, put your book down, read your math book. That way you're continuing to read. I'm like, if it's a problem, you let me know. I put her in correction and then boom, we're done. But yeah, anyway. So the next one was, Miss Pina can sometimes get so focused on an activity or project that she loses focus on the classroom routine, packing up and transition. Now, for that to be a challenge, that bothers me, but that's not my boiling point. I'll put it like that. I do know that when she is doing some work, Miss Pina is a quote-unquote perfectionist, and I even told her principal this, so that she will sit and she will try to do her work to completion. They sit up there, they do all this instruction, and then give them 5 minutes to complete their work, and then say, okay, now it's time to go on to something else. How is that supposed to make the kids productive? I mean, granted, I know you got to get all this stuff in, but come on now, you got to give them time to do the work. So I was like, whatever. But Miss Pina knows, get your work done in school. Don't be having all 1,000 pages of homework because you didn't complete your work in class. But I know now they're not giving them time to do their work in class. So then the last point, okay, so no, before I give you the last challenge, let's go on to the goals. So then her goals that the teacher set was, Miss Pina will continue to work hard and challenge herself to achieve more success and not do the minimum. My child never does the minimum, but okay. Then she says, Miss Pina will work on pulling her focus, even when she really doesn't want to, onto classroom activities and lessons. So that goes back to that challenge, right? Then it says, Miss Pina will work on transition times, wrapping up activities so that she is ready for the next activity quickly. That goes to that other challenge. So that's what she talked about in the conference. I mean, that was the conference, period. Then when I left the conference with the main teacher, I had to have a conference with the gym teacher about her asthma, because she had an asthma attack in school and it was during gym and blah, blah, blah. So, we had to get a plan in place for gym class. Because last year she spent 30 days out of gym, basically, but still passed the class. So I get home and I go back to work. I do what I got to do, but going back to the scores, so when I get home, I go back to work, but I go back to the scores because, don't know if you know, but in reading, certain schools assess kids by their different reading levels. So there's a few different ways you can assess a child's reading level. There's one called guided reading level. There's one called a DRA, and I forgot what DRA stands for. Then there's one that's called Lexile. And then there's another 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever. But anyway, So when Miss Peanut first had this, whole reading issue, blah, 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 with her teacher in second grade, I started working on the DRA reading level and making sure that her books were leveled appropriately and that she was able to, read and get past to what she needed to do. Come to find out, Miss Peanut didn't have an issue in reading. It was because she was sick. But anyway, it's still a sore subject, and I can't help but bring it up because it burns me. So I learned that particular reading level and how to do that. Of course, that teacher didn't know nothing about the DRA and, just choose these books. And the books that she was giving me was like first grade, kindergarten books, and my child was second grade. Really? You're trying to dumb her down? Anyway, I digress. So the next reading level that I learned was a guided reading level. And I think I told you guys about that in a vlog or whatever way back in the spring. I went to a class called a Sankofa class, and it was based on getting our African American, African descent children to read and know their phonics, phonemic awareness, comprehension, stuff like that. And so in that particular class that I took, I learned how to level books. So let me grab the books and I can show you what I'm talking about. One second. Okay, so when you're doing a leveling a book with the guided reading level, they do what's called A to Z. So when we were at this class, we had went to the class, and then we also went to like a book fair. And so at the book fair, they gave away a bunch of different African American books, and I don't think this is all of them. I think this is just a few of them. But anyway, she got yeah, this is only a few. There's only 4 of them. I think she ended up getting like 7 total because we ended up going to the free library too. But she got a book on Malcolm X. This is a guided reading level N. She got a book on Phyllis Wheatley. This is a guided reading level S. And I'm sorry for the glare because I got the blinds open. This here, now this is the ultimate, this is the end of the guided reading level, but this is a book on Claudette Colvin. And if you don't know who she is the first Black woman who did not give up her seat on the bus before Rosa Parks. But this is a guided reading level Z. And then this one here is called Alphabet's Book of Black Heroes from A to Z. It has President Obama on the front. And this is a guided reading level P. So as you can see, there's an array. She's got from N to Z books, right? So, and it tells you how to look at the words of the books, if there's pictures in the books, like in this one here, in Claudette Colvin's book, there's pictures in here, but as you can see, the wording is a lot smaller. So, there's a lot of different ways to, be able to level a book. And then one book that I had purchased from the Sankofa class, it's called a Sankofa book list, African-themed children's book list, categorized by guided reading levels, comprehension strategies, and identity development elements. So this book here, and I'll show you what it looks like. And I showed you this before. But this book here, I can go in here and look up any type of children's African-themed books and be able to find out what their reading levels are. So, and by taking this class, it taught me a lot. And I can't find my folder right now because that's what I'm looking for so I can have that for ammunition for the school. But anyway, so I was looking at those books, because I wanted to look at, okay, what is their guiding reading level? And I want to know, as far as like the Lexile, since this teacher is using the Lexile type of leveling. So the Malcolm X book I told you was a guided reading level N. The Lexile number for it is 630. And I want to say Lexile goes from 1, I think it starts at 1, or I think it either starts at 1 or 100 and goes into the thousands, right? So if a book is like 1,000 plus, that's like 6th to 8th grade or better. The Claudette Colvin, that was a guided reading level Z, but in Lexile it's 1,000. Excuse me. On the Phyllis Wheatley book, that one was a guided reading level S, and then that one was 940. So I was like, okay, so we on the right track. So her Malcolm X book, yes, it's a lower reading Lexile number, but still it's for grades 3 through 5. Well, on her testing for reading, it says that her Lexile range is from 627 to 777. And I said, that can't be true. I said, because she's reading books at 7th and 8th grade level. And the teacher kind of like didn't believe me. So y'all know Boss Lady does her research. She does her homework, right? So I came home and like I said, I pulled out her books. And so, you can see the different levels, 1,000, 940. I mean, the one is 630, but still. But, Miss Pina also has read pretty much the entire series of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So I pulled those guys up to see, okay, what's their, Lexile level? Their Lexile is 910 to 1,060. So if she has read those books, read them cover to cover, wouldn't put the book down, can tell me everything and anything, plus go to the plate and say, yes, Mom, that was book such and such, and they did blah, 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 blah. The girl is way past what, she's talking about. So I went online to look at the chart, because it gives you a chart of like the DRA, the GR, and the Lexile to tell you, what's the difference and how to compare and blah, blah, blah. And so, this little number that the teacher gave me, that's like 3rd grade reading. And I just said, no. So the teacher even said in the meeting, she was like, I believe her reading, her Lexile level is way higher than this. This is just a snapshot. Don't be concerned. I'm not concerned because I know what my child can do. That's just bottom line. So, so she's more in the 800s. I looked at the Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I said, no, she's more into the thousands, but okay. So anyway, so that was the whole reading piece of it. Back to this conference. So the last thing that the teacher did not touch on that I happened to read later on was one of her last challenge was Miss Peanut has had health issues that have affected her attendance in the past. And I looked at this and I said, wait a minute, what? I had to read this 3 times. We were at the library at that time because I ended up getting Miss Peanut some books in the Lexile levels that I know she can read and comprehend, whatever. But I was reading because I got the books first because, I was all about the Lexile. Let me, and the DRA and the GR and all this stuff. So I got the books, sat down, whatever. Then I got to look at this again. I said, wait a minute now. This ain't even right. Right? So I read it. I emailed the teacher. No. I read it 3 times. I text the principal. He didn't respond. I said, okay, he's still in conferences. I emailed the teacher. She didn't respond. I said, okay, she's still in conferences. I called the school. Let me go back to my dishes. So I called the school and I spoke to reception and I said, or whatever she's classified as, the assistant. I said, I need to speak to the principal. She said, oh, I'm sorry, he's in conferences. I said, okay, is the teacher still in conference too? She said, oh, yeah, everybody's conferences. Okay. I said, well, I tell you what. I said, I have texted him. So he knows I need to talk to him, but I need you to tell him that I need to talk to him. And I need to talk to him today, tonight. I don't want to go to sleep without speaking with him. I don't want to sleep on this. I want to discuss this matter right now. Miss Boss Lady, what's going on? I told her, I said, look, I said, bet not nobody ever in life, in that school, use my child's health against her. I said, she already had an attack and she refused to leave the school. I said, I'm not going to have her sick and trying to make it. If she's sick, she's going to get some rest or whatever. Nobody's going to sit up and use her health against her. Are you crazy? I said, you crazy. You done lost your mind. So I said, I need to hear from the principal today. So about 7, because this was probably about, it was after It was after 4:30, I think, when I called. So about 7:15, 7:20, I get a text message saying, I got your message. I had to take my kids, blah, blah, blah. But I'll be home by 8:30. Is that too late to call you? Oh, no. Because my phone stays on my phone stays on 24 hours a day. So, nothing's too late. Now, if I'm just asleep, I won't answer. But you know what I mean? Nothing's too late. So, because I've been getting some late night phone calls. Oh, Lord. But anyway, and text messages. Whew, that's a whole nother vlog. Anyway, so, he calls me. I mean, he was right, Johnny on the spot, as they say. That's what my grandma used to say. And I was at my mom's house. And I said, Mom, let me let you go because I don't want to, upset your house because I need to talk to this principal. So I left, got in the truck, came on home, and I told him what happened. And by the time I talked to him, the teacher had already responded. And I can't remember. I should have wrote down what she said because it's on my phone. But basically, she said that she did choose the wrong wording. Basically, she wanted me to know that her as well as the school will be supportive for any type of health concerns, issues that she may have, blah, 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 blah. How is that a challenge? Excuse me, how is that a challenge? So, yes, boss lady snapped, crackled, and popped. Yes, what's the date today? The 20th? We going into Scorpio season. So, yeah, I'm about to be rare form. So, anyway, I snapped. And I told the principal, I said, how dare she use my child's health as a barrier? I said, I don't appreciate that. He didn't appreciate that, okay? He said, all the years that I've been at the school, everybody knows, that there's certain times of the year where she gets sick. He said, but you guys are on it. You make sure she gets her homework done. He said, even when she misses class, you come to the school, when you can get away and come and get her work. And, I don't want to break no glass. He said, you come and get her work. You make sure that the work gets turned in. He said, and she hasn't had a problem this year with her asthma where she done missed a few days. She missed a few hours, but not a few days. You know what I mean? So he was like, that was very out of order. He said, there needs to be some serious coaching going on. I said, oh, yes. I said, because let me tell you something. I said, I'm mad. I said, I'm mad as heck. I said, and I would cuss, but I'm trying to stay holy. I said, one thing that she needs to understand is, I'm very well educated. I can read between the lines. You're not going to get over on boss lady when it comes to her child, her education, her well-being, her health, bullying, whatever. You're not getting over, right? So he was just like, oh my God, and I could tell, I think the principal, he's not feeling well. So you could tell by his voice, either he wasn't feeling well or he was tired. One or two, he had a little frog in his throat, but I didn't care. He was going to hear my mouth. I said, I'm a very well-educated woman. I said, and I'm a mama bear first. I said, so you're not going to use any of this against her. I want that out of her file. I want it off the record because I will use it to my advantage and not to yours. And he was just like, uh-oh. And I told him, I said, I even contacted my family members who are all educators. I said, I have an educator in my family in the state of California. I have an educator in my family in the state of Louisiana. And I got an educator in my family in the state of Minnesota. So therefore, if I done contacted 3 different states to find out, was this inappropriate? And all said, no, it was, you're not overreacting. Yes, it was inappropriate. Then this is what I'm telling you, and this is what needs to be happening. So he said he's going to, deal with the teacher accordingly because he didn't even like her response. He said she definitely worded it wrong. He said and even her response was worded wrong. He said, so there definitely needs to be some coaching going on. Like my plate, y'all. I just love my little plate. Uh-oh. I'm about to break all my glass. But anyway, so he said, he's definitely going to, get on all the teachers and make sure they're all, communicating appropriately when it comes to the parents and stuff. And then I brought up another situation. I said, since I got you on the phone, let's talk about these conferences and stuff. I said, now, overall, conference was great. You know, I said that piece right there, that bothered me. I said, you know, the piece about the whole little test that y'all do, I don't like the test either. I said, but there was another little comment that the teacher made. I said, since I got you on the phone and I'm already complaining about it, let me just go ahead and get it out of my system. I said, now, and I'm sorry for running this water, y'all. Hold on one second. Okay, I just want y'all to have to hear all that water running all at once. But anyway, so I said, and the other issue I have is, you know, there's a math game that Miss Peanut is loving to play that the teacher has introduced to the kids. Okay, not a problem, you know. Well, the game that they play it on iPads. And yes, we have an iPad. Shoot, we got two. But, you know, those are for Boss Man and for his personal use for things that he has going on. Not for her to necessarily play on. She has a Samsung tablet. Because I'm a PC girl. So, you know, I'm not Apple anything outside of my iPod that I haven't used in, shoot, almost a year. But, so anyway, you know, this game, it works better on the iPad than it does on either the laptop or the tablet. So, you know, when we were talking about that in the conference, I told her, I said, you know, because this is something that's school related, blah, 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 you know, we're going to be getting Miss Peanut iPad for Christmas. And then the teacher brings up something about, oh, well, you know, you can do the app. And I said, well, the app doesn't apply to tablets. It applies probably to the iPad, but not to the tablet. Then she started talking about something where you can get a subscription. They have a monthly subscription or a yearly subscription. And then when you get the subscription, then the kids are able to get these other little, I don't know, perks or something to go with the game and da-da-da. But then she says, but I know for most families, that's not an option because of finances. She talking to me? She must be talking to the minion on my shirt. What? So, I'm thinking to myself, I just told this woman I'm about to buy my child iPad, right? And 9 times out of 10, depending on the sales, she gonna get the 4th generation, whatever the generation is that's out right now. I think it's the 4th generation. You know, of course, Target does have the 2nd generation, and it's like $100 and some odd cheaper. But anyway, at any rate, I'm still gonna be paying $200, $300, close to $400 for an iPad. You know what I'm saying? So why would you fix your mouth to say what you just said? You know, now if I told you that yes, I'm having financial difficulty and yes, this is going to be a problem for me and blah, 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 then you might be okay to say that. And even then, you know, you better tread lightly. But, excuse me? And then she also made the comment, oh, well, Miss Peanut said that she's not able to play the game at home. There's challenges with her playing the game at home. And I said, she's played the game. I take her to the library because for whatever reason, it's not working on her tablet. But she's been able to play the game outside of school, you know. So she may seem like Miss Peanut's less fortunate, don't have nothing, whatever. And let me tell you, I'm going to be first to tell you, honest, whatever. If I ain't got it, I ain't got it, okay? But one thing I do pay for internet. So there's internet all throughout this house, Wi-Fi, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Now, it may not be the best, you know, but I still got Wi-Fi, you know what I'm saying? I work from home, so I have to have it. You know, we got laptops and tablets and, you know, she got access to all that stuff. So for the teacher to automatically assume, oh, well, she's less fortunate, that, excuse my French, pissed me off. I was like, excuse me? So I told the principal that. I said, first and foremost, she's a teacher. Teachers don't get paid no money. I'm just going to be honest. Because I'm pretty sure I make more than she does. Anyway, how dare she? We all one step from the soup kitchen line. And he was like, yeah, you right about that. I said, I don't care what tax bracket you're in. Everybody is a half a step, if not more, close to that soup kitchen line, being in the poorhouse, you know, being on the, you know, in the line trying to get something free or whatever. And mind you, I pride myself on getting stuff free and going to the thrift stores and yard sales or whatever, or Dollar Tree, or you know what I'm saying. But still, you know, yeah, if I want to, I can spend top dollar. But why? Why give top dollar when I can get it for next to nothing? So So for her to say that to me, I said, I really didn't appreciate that. She needs to watch her mouth. He was just like, woo. I'm like, yeah. I said, I don't care if I get a scholarship or not. You treat any and every child the same in that school. You don't treat them different because you think, oh, well, they're a black child, so they must don't have no money. No, you don't do that. I will tell you this, and I'm going to wrap this piece of my vlog up. That teacher, she got the revelation yesterday. That teacher's getting the revelation today from her boss. And she keep messing with Miss Peanut. The village will give her the revelation. Because let me tell you, all eyes and ears are watching and listening. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap this portion of the vlog up. And I'm gonna separate this vlog out in separate parts. So talk to you guys later. Bye.